Sa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening, everyone. Today is the last day for Dipana originations. If you have any doubt, the last chance to clarify. So let's talk about, we are talking about the origin of suffering actually. So we are learning second noble truth, the origin of suffering. So with the help of Dipana originations. So we will use one sutta from Samdha Nikaya, discourses on aggregate. So in that sutta, the Buddha said that bhikkhus, if a bhikkhu has abandoned lust, rāga, for the form element. Actually here, form element, actually the Buddha used the word dhatu, it is similar to aggregate. But of course, they have different definitions. The element of form. With the abandoning of lust, the busy is cut off. There is no support for the establishing of consciousness. So that is a technical term. I think we need to understand this one. So whatever form, is whether it's past, future or present or unpleasant, etc. So that is called form. So regarding with the form, if there is no lust, actually here, the lust, craving, attachment, clinging, they are the same, you know. In this discourse, it can be attachment, clinging, craving. They are the same in this discourse. So if there is no lust or craving toward form element, the Buddha said that the basis is cut off. The basis. So what is the basis? The basis for consciousness. So when we were born in a new life, the consciousness established. So actually, the consciousness is the first established in the new life. For that reason, in Gautama Nikaya, existence, Bhava Sutta, the Buddha said that consciousness is the seed, right? Consciousness is the seed. So that's the seed in new life. So when you want to plant a tree, you plant a seed. If there is no seed, no plant. So the consciousness in the new life is compared with the seed. But here, so the Buddha used the word aramana. Aramana here, Bhikkhu Bodhi translate the basis. So actually, the basis is nothing but karma. Karma. So karma is just like a field. So you can seed the seed, right? You can plant the seed on the field. So here, if you do not have any craving, any lust toward the form element, so there will be no karma. There's no basis for the establishment of consciousness in new life. So if you can cut off lust or craving toward form element, the basis is cut off. There is no support for the establishment of consciousness. If there is no karma, if there is no sankhara, here karma is sankhara. If there is no sankhara, there will be no consciousness. But in this soda, the word consciousness means the rebirth linking consciousness in the new life. So that means if you do not have lust or attachment in this life toward the form element, any type of form. It can be your body, the body of other people, your house, your car, the money, anything, material phenomena. If you do not have attachment or lust or craving or clinging, anything, whatever you call it, we call it craving. Here the Buddha used the word rāga. Rāga. If you do not have a rāga toward the form element, so there will be no karma, no sankhara. If there is no sankhara, so there will be no consciousness. The consciousness do not have basis or the cannot establish in the new life. So that will be the enter samsara. So here, the form element, the Buddha continued to say that feeling element, perception element, volitional formation element, and consciousness element. These are 5 aggregate. So if you do not have lust or craving toward 5 aggregate, so there will be no karma, no sankhara. If there's no sankhara, there will be no consciousness in the new life. So that will be the enter samsara. So for that reason here, craving, tanha, and lust, rāga are the same. We can say that even the clinging is the same according to this discourse. So I think if you understand complete 12 formula, 12 formula of Nibbana originations, you understand any type of Nibbana origination in the suttas. So I think today I will trying to clarify, re-clarify, and then if you are not clear, then you can add the question. So this is the sutta that we kind of finished last week, right? Last week. Then next one, cessation of suffering. This is a third noble truth. Third noble truth. So that noble truth is mentioned in different form, different way in Dukkha Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya. Depending on the I and forms, I consciousness arises. The meeting of the 3 is called contact. With the contact as condition, there's feeling. With the feeling as condition, there is craving. So that is the usual formula, right? Usual formula. We call it a rising formula, right? Rising formula. But remainder fading away and cessation of that same craving, tanha, comes cessation of clinging. But here, if there's no craving, there will be no clinging. The clinging to what 5 aggregate, or clinging to what 12 basis, clinging to what 80 elements, wherever, no? Clinging to what nama rupa, clinging to what your body, clinging to what your mind, etc. If there's no craving, there will be no clinging. If there's no clinging, cessation of existence. So here, existence means the actual existence of 31 planes of existence. 31 planes of existence. With the cessation of existence, cessation of path. If you do not have any existence, then there will be no path. No path. No coming as a rebirth in those existence. With the cessation of birth, aging, and death. Cessation, with the cessation of birth, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, despair, cease. Here, cease. Everything cease. Everything end. So the Buddha said that such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. So this is the passing away of suffering. You look at this one. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. I highlighted two words, the cessation of suffering. So this is a third noble truth. This is a third noble truth. So if there is no clinging, remainder fading away of craving, then cessation and clinging cease. If there's no clinging, no existence. If there's no existence, no path. No path, no aging, no sorrow, lamentation. For that reason, in Dhammapara, the Buddha said that apamado amata patan. Mindfulness is the way to deathless. So if you practice mindfulness, you will attain Nibbana. Final Nibbana. If you attain final Nibbana, there will be no path, no rebirth. If there is no rebirth, no death. So that will be deathless. So Nibbana is deathless is another name for Nibbana. And the next lessons we are going to learn Nibbana. So amata or deathless is another name for Nibbana. So according to this discourse, so this is a cessation of suffering, cessation of the into samsara. But of course, depending on I and form, then the consciousness arises. So that consciousness is not a rebelling consciousness, a normal consciousness. Depending on ear and sounds, ear consciousness arises. This is a normal one. Then the meeting of the three is called contact. If there's contact, then feeling. Feeling definitely will arise. If there is a feeling, craving will arise. If there is a craving, then a lot of suffering will follow. So the craving is the original all type of suffering. So if you can reduce the amount of craving toward 5 aggregate, toward 12 pieces, or toward nama rupa anything, so you can reduce the amount of suffering. So if you can remove totally, that means you can remove the original the suffering totally. So here I think, and later I will try to conclude. So to understand Nibbana origination better. But according to this discourse, it talk about the cessation of suffering. That means the into samsara. If there is no new life, so that will be the into samsara. So that means the remainder fading away of craving. So we have 3 types of craving, right? In Dhammapara, verse number 153 and 154, and the Buddha talk about 2 verses. A very famous one, Aneka Chadi Sansaran, Sandavesan, Anepisan, Kahakaran, Kawisando, Tukachadi, Punapuna. Actually, these are very famous verses. Actually, these are the verses, according to Dhammapara, these are the verses the Buddha, how to say, uttered for the first time from his mouth. So after attaining enlightenment, actually the Buddha became the Buddha after realizing Four Noble Truths. In other words, after realizing the dependent originations. We can see that both ways. So the Buddha became the Buddha after realizing Four Noble Truths. And also we can see that the Buddha became the Buddha after realizing dependent originations. The same, they are the same. Then I will talk to you later why. So after becoming the Buddha, after attaining enlightenment, the Buddha uttered these two verses. And the Buddha said that, actually the Buddha uttered from his mouth, there is nobody. So he is so happy that, so these words came out from his mouth. So it is called Udana. Udana. Udana is one of the texts from Pali Canon. Udana recorded the utterance of the Buddha, so which came out from his mouth because of the bliss of Nibbana or because of some type of happiness. So when you are so happy, some of the words come out from your mouth, even though nobody around you. So these are called Udana in Pali, utterances. So this is, according to Dhammapara, this is the first words the Buddha uttered after becoming the Buddha, according to Dhammapara. But according to other commentaries, they are not. They are not. So the first verses are another one. Actually, I will forget about. Yataha we patu bondi dhamma. Actually, forgot about it. So the other one. So according to Dhammapara, this is the first word of the Buddha. Seeking, but not finding the house builder. But here, the house builder. The house builder, I'm troubled through the round of countless path. That is called samsara. Oh, painful is path, ever and ever again. So actually here, the path is suffering, according to the first sermon, right? So the Buddha is seeking the house builder, but he couldn't find in the samsara. Painful is path, ever and ever again. House builder, actually the Buddha is talking about, the Buddha is referring to one thing. House builder, you have now been seen. I have seen you. You should not build the house again. Your rafter have been broken down. You are rich, poor is demolished too. My mind has now attained the unformed Nibbana, unconditioned Nibbana, and reached the end of every kind of craving. Actually, the Buddha is referring to craving. Here, house builder me craving. Because of craving, and we have been going around a lot of existences. As we have a lot of existences, we have a path, jati. As we have a path or rebirth, we have a aging, sickness, death, etc. These are suffering, sorrow, lamentation, etc. So here, the house builder is craving. So the Buddha said that he has found the house builder craving. Because he's so happy, after realizing, attaining enlightenment. So he, actually I think I have taught to you many times how the Buddha became the Buddha. First, he attained jhana, the fourth jhana. The fourth jhana is so clear that it looks like polished mirror. So after attaining the fourth jhana, the Buddha inclined his mind to see the regulation of previous path, previous existences, himself. Then after that, the Buddha recollect, the Buddha attained the knowledge or recollection of, Yathakamubhaka. So the past life for other beings, when they were born in hell and when they were born in heaven, and how some of them are rich, how some of them are poor. And he knows the cause, the cause. So they have been undergoing a lot of suffering. Why? The Buddha knows the cause, Suffering, the first noble truth. The cause, second noble truth. Then after that, the Buddha realized the four noble truth, or Nibbana originations, based on his own experience. He saw many lifetimes, or himself, and the life for other people, life for other people, and how their life, how they go, different destinations according to their karma. So in this way, the Buddha knows suffering. Number one, the Buddha knows the cause of suffering. Second, then he knows how to end that suffering. That is the Noble Eightfold Path. Then finally he realized cessation of suffering, Nibbana. So in this way, he became the Buddha. Actually, becoming the Buddha is very, very, very simple. For that reason, Mahayana, they use, everyone has the seat of the Buddha, Buddha Bija. They use the word Buddha Bija. Very beautiful. So actually, everyone can become the Buddha. Then actually, this is right, all right. Anyone can become the Buddha. But of course, the Buddha is great Buddha. We are small Buddha. So Mahayana, they use the word, very beautiful word, the seat of Buddha Bija. Actually, Buddha Bija is the same as the potential to achieve enlightenment. And the Buddha said that in Buddhism, there is only one taste, the taste of liberation, the taste of Nibbana. So if you attain Nibbana, your taste and the taste of the Buddha are the same, only one taste. Whether the man or women, whether the poor or the rich, anyone, So if they attain Nibbana, the bliss of Nibbana is the same. Only one taste in Buddhism. No difference, no difference. Even the name the Buddha, we can call, if you achieve the high enlightenment, you are the Buddha, right? Of course, commentary mentions Savaka Buddha. Savaka, disciple Buddha, right? Disciple Buddha. Okay, so in this way, so when the Buddha attained enlightenment, after realizing Four Noble Truths, after realizing Nibbana originations, and he attained enlightenment. After achieving enlightenment, he uttered these verses. So actually you have been craving, actually the Buddha is referring to craving. You have been building a lot of houses. Sometimes a good house, sometimes a bad house. Actually here, house means nama rupa, mind and body, right? Mind and body. Actually, aneka chari sansara in Pali. For that reason, when we want to put the Buddha image in one place, we always recite this verse. Because we believe that this is the verses that the Buddha uttered for the first time. So we put new Buddha image, then we recited Neka Jari Sansaran Sandavesa Anepisan, these two verses. And also we recited Nibbana originations, rising formula, and also cessation formula. Then after that, we recite Patthana, a small verses from Patthana, and also after that we recite Itipiso Bhagava. So in this way, new Buddha image became real Buddha. Only in Myanmar, not in Sri Lanka, not in other countries. If people want to keep new Buddha image, normally they invite the monks. Then we have to recite these verses. Because after reciting these verses, we believe that this is the new Buddha image became actual Buddha image. Actually, it's just a, how to say, the catcher of, I say the consecration, right? Just a consecration. We want to make the Buddha image consecrated, consecrated. So actually, whether you recite these verses or you do not recite these verses, not a problem. As long as you pay homage to the Buddha as a living memory of the Buddha, it's okay, it's okay. Actually, according to the Buddha images are not important. Any images, any images are not important. Even the Buddha image. Remember that Bhikkhu Vaggali, right? Bhikkhu Vaggali went to see the Buddha and he came from Savatthi to Rajagaha, 200 kilometers, even though he is seriously ill. And the Buddha said that, don't look at this unpleasant body. If you see me, if you see the Dhamma, you see me. If you see me, you see the Dhamma. Dhamma is important. So even though you do not have any images in your house, as long as you are practicing the Dhamma, if you understand the Dhamma and you follow the Dhamma, you are eco-Buddhist. Images are not important. But of course, in other words, images are very, very important. The reason is we can visualize, the image of the Buddha by using Buddha images, and we sit down in front of the Buddha images, and we have serenity of the mind, then we can recall the quality of the Buddha. Two things, I would say that in advanced level, no need Buddha images. If other followers, other people from different faith normally condemn, Buddhist as an idol worshipper. Actually, I'm not angry. I accept that because Buddhists are following, Buddhists are being, using a lot of images and a lot of idols, Pali is correct. But according to the Buddha, images are not important. Even, the body of himself, the Buddha said that? No. The Dhamma. For advanced Buddhists, images are not important. But of course, for normal Buddhists, very, very important. So easier for them to visualize, the image of the Buddha. And also, it is for them to have a serenity of the mind if they sit in front of the Buddha. Different level, Advanced Buddhists, no need. Normal Buddhists, images are important. But trying to be, clear in your mind, the clarity of the mind. As long as you are practicing the Dhamma, nothing is important. For that reason, in our class, the last topic will be the Noble Eightfold Path. That is the Dhamma. That is very important. So as long as you are following, you're practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, you are eco-Buddhist. You are advanced Buddhist. I will say that. Any question up to now? Okay. Oh yeah, That is for that reason I use Pali with Sankhara. You know Sankhara? We have learned Sankhara. Sankhara is a conditioned things. Actually here, Sankhara is not Sankhara in dependent originations. Here Sankhara means Sabbe Sankhara nature. All conditioned things are impermanent. Conditioned things mean conditioned by causes. Sometimes because of the mind, sometimes because of the weather, sometimes because of the food, etc. There are many causes. If something is conditioned by those causes, that's called sankhara. So sankhara, according to sankhara, our mind is sankhara, conditioned by many causes, right? If the weather is not good, change, you know. If the weather is good, change, condition. Then our body, also the same thing, condition. Everything, you know. Other than nibbana, the rest are called conditioned phenomena. It's called sankhara. Here, with me, negative, not conditioned things. So that means nibbana. So here, actually, we have a different interpretation. Actually, I use translation of Bhikkhu Jnana Moli. Bhikkhu Jnana Moli, actually, his translation is very beautiful. Then I look at 3 versions of these 2 verses. So I like his translation. For that reason, I use the life of the Buddha according to Pali Canon. Bhikkhu Jnana Moli, the life of the Buddha according to Pali Canon, page number 29. So this is the best book regarding with the life of the Buddha, because he collect all the information from Pali Canon. He reconstruct, you know, the timeline of the life of the Buddha. So this is the best book for those who want to read the life of the Buddha according to Pali Canon. Actually, the complete name is the life of the Buddha according to Pali Canon. So you can read in the library. Also, you can type in the Google and you can get PDF form. It's the best one. Very good. So here, actually here, for that reason, I use Pali, the unformed Nibbana. Actually, there is no the word Nibbana, but it talk about Nibbana. Not condition or unconditioned. We call it unconditioned. Sometimes they translate unconstructed. So for that reason, I think we need to know the Pali. Sometimes, if you just read, if you just read the English translation, it will lead to wrong interpretation, you know. So what I mean is, if you want to know a very important teaching of the Buddha, then you need to know Pali. Otherwise, it will lead to misunderstanding. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Nibbana. There's actually in the verses there's no the word Nibbana, but Bhikkhu Jnana Moli he used the word Nibbana, unformed or unconditioned. Yeah, you're right. And reach the end of every kind of craving. So the Buddha, actually after becoming the Buddha uttered the words, 2 verses, you know. So now I found the house builder craving. You cannot build the house anymore. For that reason, when the Buddha died, passes away, final Nibbana, there's no new rebirth. So earlier I promised I will talk about more complete dependent originations. So now we have learned 12-fold formula. So actually, you look at, I think we still have a time. You look at I think you don't need to read the sutta, right? I will explain, by heart. So we have learned 12-fold formula of Tibetan originations. So 12-fold formula talk about the origin of suffering. But here, suffering cover, numerous lifetime or samsara suffering. For that reason, commentary they always use the word Vata Dukkha, samsara suffering. So even the body, even this body, anything that you own right now, suffering. So because of ignorance here means not knowing Four Noble Truth. That's very important. To know the definition is very important. You read Sutta Nikaya, Sutta number, chapter 12, Sutta number 2. So this is a analysis of the Tibetan originations. So the Buddha himself analyzed and also trying to analyze 12-fold formula. Avijja, ignorance. So here, don't follow English word, follow the definition of the Buddha. So not knowing Four Noble Truths. So if you say Four Noble Truths, in your mind you think that it is very, very, very high, Actually, the first one is suffering. You must know suffering as a suffering, the first one. Second, you must know the origin of suffering, why suffering originated. And third one, you must know the cessation of suffering, Nibbana. That means, if you do not attain Nibbana, that means you have ignorance, right? Even Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, they still have ignorance. Only Arahant, the Buddha, they totally uprooted the ignorance. Because the reason is, even Nurratana, Anagami, so they still have ignorance, because they still have attachment or craving to what they are meditative blissed. Even they want to have a reborn, craving to reborn in the Brahma realm. Because it's so, the meditative bliss is so great that they crave for it. Craving arises because of ignorance. So even the non-returner have ignorance. So cessation of suffering, and not knowing the way to cessation of suffering. Even non-returner, let alone Uttojana, even the non-returner, they do not know, the way that lead to cessation of suffering. Not know me, but of course up to non-return level, in the non-return level, they know. But to become Arahant, they do not know yet. For that reason, ignorant, avijja means not knowing Four Noble Truth, right? Four Noble Truth. If you have ignorance, we will do a lot of karma, sankhara. So here, karma means your bodily action, verbal action, and mental actions. So those actions are based on ignorance and craving. If you do something based on ignorance and craving, that is called karma. So if you do something not based on ignorance and craving, if you do something based on mindfulness and sampajana, I think we cannot call sankhara. It can be called, of course, for Arahant and the Buddha, it is called kriya cheda, kriya, functioning. For Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Buddhojana, if they do something with their body, with their speech, and with their mind, full of mindfulness and full of sampajana, we cannot call sankhara. So we cannot call sankhara. It's called kriya. If not, it's a pocket, or pseudo functional chaita. So anyway, if you have a ignorance and you will do a lot of karma or sankhara. So if you have a karma, and that is if you have because of karma or sankhara, consciousness arises. Here, consciousness can be called, consciousness can be different name, So if we refer to the whole life, it refers to rebirth consciousness. But it refers to current time. You have I and form. Because of that, I consciousness arises. It is not a rebirth consciousness, just I consciousness. Then you have ear, sounds, then ear consciousness arises like this. So the consciousness may be attained, given different name according to different contexts. So if you have a consciousness, then, but of course, according to travel formula, many of the suttas, consciousness refer to rebirth consciousness. The first consciousness in the new life. If there is no consciousness in the new life, there will be no nama rupa. If there is no nama rupa, there will be no six sin species. If there is no six sin species, there will be no contact. No contact, no feeling. No feeling, no craving. No craving, no clinging. If you don't have any clinging to a five aggregate in the last thought moment, there will be no existence. There's no existence. So consciousness do not have any, the basis or foundation. Consciousness cannot establish in the new existence. So if there is no existence, no path. If there is no path, no aging, no sickness, no death, no sorrow, no lamentation, etc. So this will be the end of suffering. So I think this is a procedure of dependent originations according to the many suttas. But of course, there are some suttas that indicate consciousness as a rebirth linking consciousness. Many suttas. So, according to Abhidhamma, so Abhidhamma and commentary, interpret a different way, using 3 lifetime formula, or 3 period for time, Avijja and Sankhara as a past life. Because of Avijja and Sankhara and Vijnana, then Namarupa and 6 sin species, contact, feeling, craving. Feeling. 5, These 5 are the effect. The effect in the new life. So if you have those effects and you have 2 causes, then craving and clinging. 2 causes. So if you have 3 causes, If you have craving and clinging, you will do karma again. Then you see the causes in this life. Then because of that, you will have a new rebirth, new rebirth, jati. If you have a jati, and you will have a jara marana, etc., all these are. Then if you have those death, aging, etc., you will have a ignorance again. If you have ignorance, you will do karma again. If you do karma, you will have a effect, reset. Then because of that, craving, clinging again. Then because of that, karma. Because of that karma, you will was born again. Like this. This is a circular life, circular life. But I think the whole 12-fold formula talk about the life, samsara. So, because of ignorance, sankhara, sankhara. Because of sankhara, then consciousness. So here, the 12-fold formula talk about, here in the 12-fold formula, the consciousness here means a consciousness in a new life. Consciousness in a new life. So because of that consciousness, nama rupa. Definitely you have a nama rupa. If you have a mind and body, you have a 6 sense basis. If you have a 6 sense basis, you have a contact with the outside object. If you have a contact, feeling will arise. If you have a feeling, then craving. Then if you have a craving, clinging. Because of that, you have a existence. Here, existence means the new life. New life. So, when we went, sometimes the Buddha preach dependent originations using our present life conditions. Present life conditions. Just like so the Buddha talk about Chachaka Sutta, 6 set of 6, 6 set of 6. If you have an I form, because of that, I consciousness arises. Then because of that, contact. Because of contact, feeling. Because of feeling, craving. If you crave for it, if you crave something, and suffering will follow. So I think this is set of 6, like in those sutta. So the Buddha talk about current condition. So we have to understand in such a way. Question? Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Please use microphone. Yeah, good.
The link.
Can you repeat your question?
Okay, what I meant is always confused between feeling, then you have craving here. Now your craving is governed. The feeling is governed by the ignorance, so we have craving, right?
Yeah.
If the feeling is governed by mindfulness, so you will lessen the craving.
If governed by mindfulness and sampajana, wisdom, there's no craving.
There's no craving. So we can stop the link there.
But if you can practice mindfulness and sampajana until you die in this life, then that will be the end of suffering, the end of samsara. Of course, we have to practice mindfulness and sampajana at all time. So if you practice mindfulness and sampajana until you die, so if there's no craving, there's no clinging. If no clinging, no craving, so you will not do karma. If there's no karma, consciousness do not have any footing in the new existence. So that means the consciousness will cease at that moment. So that final consciousness can be called Chuticcheda, that consciousness. So that if you have a karma, so that consciousness will have a footing in the new life. But suppose you are practicing mindfulness and sampajana all the time. You're going to die. And at that time, there will be contact. If you have a contact, there will be feeling. Feeling definitely will arise. When you practice, you just know pleasant feeling as a pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling as a unpleasant feeling, and neutral feeling as a neutral feeling. You know that, right? Because of mindfulness and sampajana. Then, suppose because of unpleasant feeling you die, no? By that moment, you just know that unpleasant feeling as an unpleasant feeling. Then you terminate your feeling in this life. So as you have mindfulness and sampajana, as you do not have craving or clinging, you are not creating karma. If there's no karma, if there's no sankhara, that consciousness do not have any footing. No footing in the new life. Just like the consciousness is, that consciousness is similar to the seed, similar to the seed. If there is no ground to plant the seed cannot grow. So just like that consciousness do not have any footing or the place to grow, then there will be that will be the end of samsara. There's no rebirth, no existence, no rebirth at all. But of course, you have to practice mindfulness at all times. If not, before you die, maybe 10 minutes before you die, you practice mindfulness continuously, then you terminate your feeling in this life, then that way you can attain Nibbana. Even 5 minutes, even the 5 minutes. If you continuously practice, no? Question? Remember, before your question, I repeat teachings of the Buddha. In the Samyutta Nikaya, chapter 36, Vedana Sanyutta, Sutta number 7, the Buddha said that we have to terminate feeling with our body. We have to terminate the feeling in this life. So that means, what the Buddha means is, suppose you have a pleasant feeling in your body, you know that it's pleasant feeling. Knowing pleasant feeling as a pleasant feeling me, because of mindfulness and sampajana. You have a mindfulness and sampajana. Then, if you have unpleasant feeling, you have to know that there's unpleasant feeling. Then you terminate feeling in your body. Then there's no place for craving. Craving cannot arise because you have a mindfulness and sampajana. Then, if a person is going to die, just like a bhikkhuni came and she practiced mindfulness and sampajana, she knows what is happening in her mind and in her body. If a pleasant feeling arises, she just knows that pleasant feeling. No grasping, no craving anything. No craving anything. Just purely mindfulness and sampajana. If she died with the mindfulness and sampajana, she terminates feeling in this life. So before she died, before Chuddhiceda, that consciousness, mindfulness and sampajana governed, dominate at the time. There's no craving. Craving and clinging cannot arise. If there's no craving and clinging, no existence. That consciousness is the last consciousness in this life. So that consciousness do not have any footing, any ground to grow. So that means no existence, no rebirth. That will be the end of samsara. Easier said than done. Question? Okay.
Yeah, so maybe my question is this, and maybe I have misunderstood you. So if I have, please correct me. So are you saying that a person may do bad things throughout his life, but on his deathbed, in the last 5 minutes, if he has pure mindfulness and pure sampajana without
Sampajana
yeah,
or wisdom.
yeah. If he has these two, pure mindfulness and pure clear comprehension,
Yeah.
feeling will be terminated in this life, and he will go to Nibbana. Is that what you're saying?
Not go into Nibbana. Achieve Nibbana.
He will
Nibbana cannot be. You cannot go to Nibbana.
yeah, but then that means that.
Yeah.
So technically, it's possible. That's what you're saying.
Possible.
Technically, so that
But
means.
I will give you. Yeah. Okay. Keep on your question.
So that means all the very profound learnings that we have learned about first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and the immaterial jhana up to the fifth jhana based on perception and non-perception, you don't need that. Is that what you're saying?
No, actually here, and good question. Actually, jhana simply means concentration. Jhana simply means concentrations. So if you have concentrations, you have mindfulness and sampajana. Easier to have mindfulness and sampajana. But of course, a person who have done a lot of bad things in his lifetime, very difficult to have, such type of mindfulness and clearly comprehending. But of course, it can be done. The reason is we can look at the story of Venerable Angulimala. He had killed a lot, a lot of people. But he terminate feeling in his body. So for that reason, he became arahant. So it's possible, even for those who have done a lot of unwholesome deed in this life, before they die, if they practice mindfulness and sampajana, they can even become arahant, arahant, possible. But of course, for those people, possibility is very few, percentage is very few, For that reason, for those who develop mind concentrations, samadhi, I think it's very possible before they die, they practice mindfulness and sampajana. Then we take the example of Bhikkhuni Khema. She knows what is happening in his mind, in her mind, and in her body. Because she doesn't have any craving and clinging, even toward his painful body, painful body. It's very hard because she has been practicing meditation for a long time. For that reason, she can do that. Mostly, people crave or cling for many things, especially to our body. We afraid to die because craving and clinging to our body. We don't want to, let go of our body. For that reason, we crave for it and we cling to that. Because of clinging, new existence will arise. I think it's very important to practice mindfulness and sampajana. Okay. Then, as I have a promise, I will talk about even a lengthier dependent originations. It's the proximate cause, Upanishad Sutta. This is also a famous Sutta. Bhikkhu Bodhi write a small booklet, Upanishad Sutta, Sutta Nikaya, chapter 12, Sutta number 23, proximate cause. The Buddha said that there's bhikkhus with ignorance as a proximate cause, Upanishad, volitional formation come to be. It's not new. It's the one you already learned. So that means because of ignorance, volitional formation or sankhara arises. With the volitional formation as a proximate cause, consciousness arises. Because of consciousness, because of ignorance, now I will not use previous one. So these are, I just want to show the factors, no? Factors. Because of ignorance, avijja, volitional formation arises. Because of sankhara, consciousness. Because of consciousness, mind and matter. And because of mind and matter, 6 sense bases. Here, I think I have to clarify again. Visuddhimagga and commentaries following the example of Vibhaṅga. Vibhaṅga is the important text in the Pali Canon. Following the example of Vibhaṅga and Visuddhimagga and other commentaries, they define 12-fold formula as a 3 period for time. It is correct, but it is not complete. So we have other dependent originations that talk about the consciousness as a different name. You know, just like eye consciousness, ear consciousness. Because of consciousness, mind and matter. Because of mind and matter, 6 sense bases. Because of 6 sense bases, you have a contact. Because of contact, you have a feeling. Because of feeling, craving will arise. Because of craving, clinging. Because of clinging, existence. Because of existence, path. Up to here, the same, no? Up to here, the same. Because of path, suffering. Here, the Buddha used the word suffering. So actually, dukkha, here it refers to aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, despair, etc. So these are called suffering. So up to here we have a 12, right? 12 factors. So the same as the 12 formula. The thing is only different in the 12 factor. So aging and death, etc. You as a suffering, dukkha. Then because of suffering, your faith, saddha. So actually here, faith, you have faith in the Dhamma. The Dhamma here means 4 noble truths. The first one is suffering. You have a faith, suffering as a suffering. Your body is suffering. Aging is suffering. Path is suffering. You have a 100% faith in the teachings of the Buddha. Or, in other words, suffering. Normally, we don't have such a faith, you know. We don't have such a faith. So only Arahant, you know, they will have a 100% faith. Suffering as a suffering. Sotapanna, they don't have a 100% faith. When they see beautiful body, they still see as a beautiful. They don't see, actually the body, the Buddha always say asubha. You know, the farm body is very unpleasant. As a Sotapanna, when they see beautiful one, they see as a beautiful. That is called Vibhaṅga, you know, wrong perception. Any type of body is unpleasant, asubha. So that means even Sotapanna do not have any 100% faith, you know, in the suffering. Only Arahant, 100%. But here, of course, as a Puthojana, then you have a faith, little bit of faith. Suffering as a suffering. It's not really easy. It needs a lot of concentrations, If you later, when you practice, you have a lot of concentrations, and if you have a lot of concentrations, you begin to know the nature of your body. The nature of your body. It's impermanent. It's impermanent. What is impermanent is suffering, What is impermanent is suffering. Normally we don't have a, faith, the body as a suffering. But here, so faith here means the body is impermanent. For that reason, it is dukkha, suffering. So for those who really know the body as impermanent with their own realization, through concentrations, then they have a faith, suffering as a suffering. For that reason, faith is very important. If you have faith, you continue to practice. You are there to go, there to practice. A few months ago, I met a devotee, and he is trying to sell his house. The reason is he wants to go to meditation center once and for all. He wants to practice meditations. For normal people, it's very difficult to think. He will sell his house. He will stay in the meditation center the whole life. Not easy, it's not. It's faith, it's faith. If you have more faith, there will be gladness. So, if you have a faith, suffering as a suffering, the original suffering as the original suffering, and cessation of suffering and cessation of suffering, and the path that lead to cessation of suffering as the path that lead to cessation of suffering, Four Noble Truths. But here, even though the Buddha used the word suffering, you can understand Four Noble Truths. Faith in the Four Noble Truths. Because of that faith, gladness will come. Because of gladness, rapture. The increase, The rapture, tranquility. Tranquility. If you have a tranquility, concentration will arise. But here, this concentration can be normal concentration or jhana concentrations. If you have a concentrations and you will have the knowledge and vision of things as they really are, that's very important. If you have a concentrations, if you have a jhana, a higher level, and you will see the real nature of your mind, the real nature of your body, as they really are. In Pali, Yatha Buddha, Jnana Dasana. Because of concentrations, we are practicing meditations to develop concentrations. So if you have a full concentrations, you will see everything in their true natures. The body as a suffering, the mind as a suffering, your house as a suffering, your car as a suffering, anything, anything. So we are talking about, don't forget that we are talking about develop advanced teachings of the Buddha, advanced teachings of the Buddha. Suffering, even the faith, only Arahant, the Buddha, they have a 100% faith, If you have concentrations, you will know things in their true natures. Then if you have this knowledge, you have a revulsion. Revulsion means you're not happy to possess your body. You're afraid, You're afraid that you have the body which has the nature of suffering, the nature of impermanence. You want to run away. So revulsion. It's very high, very high. So normally we love our body, we love our own mind, because we do not know their real nature. We do not have Yatha Buddha Jnana Darsana. So when you listen the Dhamma talk by meditation masters, they will use the word this way, Yatha Buddha Jnana Darsana. Meditation master, especially from Thailand, they use this Pali very often. Yatha Buddha Jnana Darsana, the knowledge of things. Here, things mean it can be your body, your mind, anything. So you will see in their true nature. If you see their true natures, you will not have any, attachment to them. You disappointed with your body. You don't want anymore. That is called dissipation, viraga. So if you don't want anymore, suppose you left something, something. You think that the one you left is unpleasant, disgusting. Then if you disgust, you no longer attach to that. You will throw it away. Just like that, if you know that the nature of your body, the nature of your mind, the nature of everything, as they really are, then you will have a revulsion. No, you don't want it. You're not happy with this. For that reason, you don't have any attachment. If you don't want your partner, no attachment. Just like that, just like that. It's called dissipation. Dissipation is the opposite of passion, Actually here, passion here means craving or attachment or lust. Dissipation, you don't want it. If you don't want it, you have a liberation. Whatever happened to your body, whatever happened to your own mind or your own everything, your mind is liberated. You do not get hurt because of that. You know that the nature of body is impermanent. Because of that, it's suffering. You know that. Then when the body encounter the nature of impermanent, aging and death, you know as it is. So because of that, no attachment. No lust, no craving, no clinging. If there's no lust and craving, your mind is liberated. Whatever happened to your body, no worry. Nothing happened in your body. Your mind is very stable. It's called liberated. Liberation is nothing but enlightenment. Then next one is the knowledge of distraction or taints. So if you attain enlightenment, so that means you don't have any taints in your mind, you will know it by yourself. That is called the knowledge of distraction or taints. In Pali, it is called asavakkhaya jnana. In the Sutta, it is called asavakkhaya jnana. So this is one of the knowledge the Buddha attained, 3 knowledges. The knowledge of recollection of previous life, and the knowledge of recollection of how beings go around samsara, and the knowledge of distraction or taints. Then after attaining these 3 knowledges, the Buddha became the Buddha. So this is a 22-fold formula dependent on origination. Even more than 12, right? So if you look at this one, is it depend on this, Something happened. Because of this, that happened. Because of it, that happened. So this is called dependent originations. So this is, we can call it this, the most complete dependent originations. Normally we talk about travel formula, of course. There is a travel formula is more than enough, but this is I want to just point out, this is also called dependent originations, right? Any question? I need okay. Sorry? Please use microphone.
You see, we always learn dependent origination of 12 links. So now this is 22. So my question is that, is this also from Pali Canon?
Yeah, from Upanishad Sutta. I have given the Sutta name, Sutta Nikaya, chapter 12, Sutta number 23. So here, dependent origination means dependent on which something happened, something happened. That's called dependent originations. So we have a different type of dependent originations. So just like that, even the Four Noble Truths is dependent originations. So because of craving, suffering arises, If you practice the Noble Eightfold Path, you will attain Nibbana. So that is a very, of course, this is also dependent originations. Because of the Noble Eightfold Path, you attain Nibbana. Cessation of suffering. Because of craving, suffering. That's dependent origination. Only two, or only two. Okay, another question here.
But there's also another aspect of craving, that is aversion. I mean, if you don't like what you don't want, isn't that also a negative form of craving as well?
You're right.
And it's very easy to dispassion what I don't want versus what I want. Because, I mean, it's very easy to let go what I don't want. So isn't that another form of craving in that sense? You crave not to want something you don't want.
The question is very beautiful. And if you don't like something,
it's easy to give up if you don't like something.
Easy to give up, right?
Yeah.
Actually here, we have to look at the Pali word. Here, Vibhaṅga. Rāga is similar to craving, craving. We have a three type of craving. So, if you don't like something, craving for non-existence. Craving for non-existence. You don't want that. Suppose somebody is sitting nearby, sitting near you. You don't like it. Your aversion or hatred toward that person. You don't want existence of that person. That is another type of craving, craving for non-existence. You don't want existence of that person nearby, Your mind is not liberated from hatred.
That's why it's a very narrow margin, because sometimes we lie to ourselves, we're giving up, but actually there's aversion. So unless you can say, it's purely dispassion or, because,
actually,
there's always this thing that you don't like.
Yeah, what I mean is, even craving is safe.
Yes.
Craving is safe. It can
crave for the feeling of not liking it. Yeah.
No, what I mean is, even craving is safe. So because of lobha, because of greed, you crave. And because of hatred also you crave for non-existence. Just like the person sitting nearby, then you have a craving, you have a passion, non-existence of that person, non-existence. You have a craving, you want that person ran away, That's another type of craving, another type of passion, For that reason, don't look at English word. Actually, if we just look at this passion, without passion, it looks like negative. Actually, here, passion means craving, less clinging. You have clinging for non-existence of that person. Your mind is not liberated. Your mind is attached to or staying with anger or aversion.
Okay, maybe I give you an example.
Okay.
Let's say the person is at the deathbed. He know his body is suffering.
Okay.
He don't like that, And then sometimes we just, maybe we lie to ourselves, we deceive ourselves. Okay, my body is not mine. Something like that. It's like a bit of delusion in order to get over the physical pain. So my question here is that still dispassion, or that is a form of delusion? Telling ourselves, okay, I know I have this thing, I need to let go, but whether my mind let go or not, that is a secondary question. Yeah. That's why I say I'm trying to differentiate between the physical,
very subtle,
differences.
Differences. Then I will take your example. Somebody is going to die in a lot of suffering. But of course, normally we don't like that suffering. If you don't like me, you hate it. Hatred, or anger. No anger. Anger is the root of anger. Actually, anger is another root, another form of craving. We have two types of craving. Craving with the lobha, craving with the dosa. If you don't like your unpleasant feeling, painful feeling, that is the craving for non-existence. You don't like existence of that painful feeling. Your mind is not liberated from hatred and anger. But here, for that reason, what the Buddha recommends here is mindfulness and sampajana. You know painful feeling as a painful feeling. That's all. Knowing painful feeling clearly is called sampajana. Because of mindfulness, you have a sampajana. If mindfulness and sampajana govern at the time, there's no craving. No craving for non-existence of that painful feeling. You just know unpleasant feeling as the unpleasant feeling. That's all. If pleasant feeling arises, you just know that is a pleasant feeling. That means with the help of mindfulness and sampajana. So if you practice mindfulness and sampajana, so we'll take it Bhikkhuni Khema again. So if you let go, death is a pleasant. So actually she just say that if you let go me, no clinging to your body, no clinging to your feeling, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, no clinging. Pleasant as a pleasant, unpleasant as a pleasant, clearly comprehending. Then no clinging, no existence. So we normally in the second jhana in Sutta Pitaka and third jhana in Abhidhamma Pitaka, we don't have a Vitakka and Vichara. Normally Vitakka and Vichara, thought and examination, or initial application and sustained application. They're trying to hold the object. So when someone is practicing anapana, breathing and breathing out, Vitakka Vichara hold, breathing object. So if we hold, so when we are young, we normally hold our parents' hand, We are afraid to lose. We are afraid to lose. We are not free, We are not free. So we attach to the hand of mother. Now we don't need to hold, For that reason, wherever happens, we are free. Just like that, if we cling or if we grabs, upadana grabs something, our mind is not free. So just like that, if we let go, if we do not have any clinging to anything, just purely mindfulness and sampajana, then by that time, even painful feeling, just painful feeling. You do not take it. You do not take it. But of course, it is very, very, very difficult. For those who practice regularly, it's possible. It's possible. Okay, I think we have many more to go. So I think I want to finish. Want to finish this today. So this is a cessation formula. With the remainder of fading away and cessation of ignorance comes cessation of volitional formation. With the cessation of volitional formation, cessation of consciousness. If there's no consciousness, no mind and matter. If there's no mind and matter, no six sense species. If there's no six species, there will be no contact, no feeling, no feeling, no craving, no craving, no clinging, no clinging, no existence, no existence, no path, no path, no aging and death, no sorrow, lamentation, pain, greed, and despair. Everything will be ceased. So the Buddha said that this is cessation of this whole mass of suffering. Here I highlight the cessation of suffering. Right? Okay, this is cessation formula. Then we'll go back another sutta from Anguttara Nikaya that we have already learned. So when we learn about karma, under Sila topic, 3 sectarian tenets. Taithayatana Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya, chapter 3, sutta number 61. This is a very beautiful sutta. So as a Buddhist, you should know it. You should digest this sutta. It is linked with the Nibbana originations. It talks about theory of karma. So in this sutta is linked with the Nibbana originations. If you know this sutta, so you have a wrong views, you will be able to clear wrong views based on Nibbana originations. The first one, the Buddha said that wherever this person experience, whether pleasure, pain, neither pain nor pleasant, all that is caused by what was done in the past life, in the past. That is called Pobbe Kata Hetu. As Dhammika gave the name karmic determination. Because of past karma, something happened in your life, whether it is good or bad. But of course, past karma is very important. Not just past karma, current karma as well. If you just rely on past karma, something happened because of past karma, you give birth. It is a very dangerous wrong view, the Buddha said. The second one, wherever this person experience, whether good or bad, all that is caused by God's created activity, because of God. God created it. Isra Nemada Hetu, theistic determination. If you have such a wrong view, and you will rely on God. Whatever happened in your life, whether good or bad, you will say that it's because of God. It's God's way, right? God's way. It's also wrong view. It's a wrong view. I think as a Buddhist, I know we don't have such one, right? But as a Buddhist, the first one, because of my past karma, I can't have it. Then you give birth, Then you have a diseases, oh, because of my past karma, I cannot have it. No way to cure it. Then you don't go to hospital. Then you die. That's not according to Buddhism, you know. That's called karmic determinism, you know. You think that because of past karma. It can be because of past karma plus because of present karma as well. You do not take care of your food, you do not take care of your lifestyle, because of that you have diseases. It can be present causes as well. Then you have to take action, you know. You have to cure it. If you cannot cure the diseases, you have to let go. That's all I can do. That's all I can do, you know. The next one is very important. Wherever this person experience, whether pleasure, pain, neither pain or pleasure, all that occurs without cause or condition, without cause. We came here by chance. Like this, you know. This is a wrong view. There's no past life, there will be no future life. We are here. Actually, scientists, they use a particular one word, you know. Not by chance. They use randomly, you know. We here, random, I think, huh? Then I think I forgot what this is. Also, something like a by chance. So there's special usage, you know. Some scientists, we are here by chance. That's without a cause or conditions. That is also wrong view, right? So normally, people may have those three type of wrong views because they do not understand dependent originations, paticca-samuppada. For that reason, paticca-samuppada, because of this, that happened. Because of this, that happened. Because of it, that happened. There is no creator God. Then there is no causeless. You know? So there is a condition and cause all the time. You are happy, there's conditions. You are unhappy, there's conditions. So there is cause, you know, as dependent originations. Because of it, that happened. You are happy because you do good things, you know. That is conditions of the cause, you know. You're not happy, you have done a lot of bad things, you know. That is a cause. So that is called, everything has a cause, you know. Cause. So based on this Satiryan Sutta, we can understand that dependent originations and Four Noble Truths are not different. They are the same, but of course, the way they present is different. So in the Satiryan Sutta, the Buddha equate second Noble Truths with the arising formula of dependent originations. Because of ignorance, sankhara arises. Because of sankhara, vijnana arises. Arising formula, you know. Because of this, that arises. Because of this, this arises. So in that sutta, the Buddha equate second noble truth. What is second noble truth? The origin of suffering. The origin of suffering. So the Buddha equate with the arising formula of dependent originations. It is well stated that arising formula end with the line. Such is the origin of this whole mass of suffering. I highlighted the word, the origin of suffering. Suffering arises because of arising formula. Right? Suppose you see something, then contact arises. Because of that contact, either pleasant or unpleasant or neutral will arise. Because of feeling, if you are not mindful, if you do not have sampajana, craving will arise. Because of craving, clinging. Because of clinging, then a lot of suffering, starting from birth. No? So this is the Buddha used the word such is the origin of this whole mess of suffering. Dukkha khandasa samu eva metasa dukkha khandasa samuriya hoti. Dukkha khanda aggregate or massed. So it's because of craving. For that reason, arising formula of dependent originations is the original suffering. It's similar to second noble truth. So in this sutta, cessation order is mentioned as a third noble truth, cessation of suffering. If there's no ignorance, there's no sankhara, no vijnana, etc. That is a cessation formula. So it is also well set as such, because the last line reads, such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. But here, cessation of suffering. If you want to cease all type of your suffering, you have to practice not to have ignorance. Not to have ignorance means to know the noble four noble truth. To know four noble truths. Suffering as a suffering. The original suffering as the original suffering. Cessation of suffering as a cessation of suffering. Four noble truths as a four noble truths. So that is, you don't have ignorance. If you don't have ignorance, no sankhara. No sankhara, no vijnana. Then no existence, no birth. No birth, no aging, etc. So this will be cessation of suffering. If you want to stop all type of suffering in this life, and also in samsara, have to practice not to have ignorance. To remove ignorance, you have to mainly practice two things: mindfulness and sampajana. Only two things, For that reason, Vibhusearo, one of the famous meditation master in Myanmar, he is regarded as a arahant, and he said that. So if you want to summarize the whole Tipitaka, we can summarize with the 37 requisites of enlightenment. But if you want to summarize 37 requisites of enlightenment, you summarize with Four Noble Truths. If you want to summarize Four Noble Truths, then 3-4 training: Sila, Samadhi, Panya. If you want to summarize Sila, Samadhi, Panya, only one: mindfulness. For that reason, we are meditating. Meditation means to develop, to increase your mindfulness. That is called meditation. Okay? So in this sutta, in the first noble truth, suffering, and the fourth noble truth, the way that lead to cessation of suffering, are explained exactly the same with the lines stated in the first noble truth, the first sermon. The Machaka Bodhana Sutta, in the first sermon, the Buddha talk about the first noble truth, starting with birth, aging, etc., right? Etc. And the fourth noble truth, same the Noble Eightfold Path, right? So there is no different. So here, what we can understand is Four Noble Truths is just like the foot of elephant. It's the biggest, you know. Anything can be put into the Four Noble Truths. So dependent originations talk about only two truths: second and third. Second and third. Arising formula, second Noble Truth. Cessation formula, third Noble Truth. Okay. For that reason, the Buddha said that in many. But here the difference is Four Noble Truths is the Dhamma that we must understand to get out the cycle of life of samsara. Why? Dependent origination provides the ways and the means to achieve the goal. How to go? Actually, Four Noble Truths is a complete set. But to cut off all type of suffering, so dependent origination gives you the ways and means how to end suffering. You have to practice not to have ignorance, right? Studying that. For that reason, the Buddha often mentions in many suttas that so if you want to attain enlightenment, you must understand Four Noble Truths. Just like a Samyutta Nikaya, Sutta number 56, chapter 56, Sutta number 21, Kotikara Sutta. And also it is mentioned in Mahaparinibbana Sutta also. Many Sutta, the Buddha said that if you want to attain enlightenment, if you want to attain Nibbana, trying to understand Four Noble Truths. In some other Sutta, the Buddha said that if you want to attain enlightenment, you must understand dependent originations. Just like a Digha Nikaya, Sutta number 15, Mahanidana Sutta. And also Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta number 26, Ariya Priyasana Sutta. So in those Sutta, the Buddha said that if you want to attain enlightenment, you must understand dependent originations. Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta number 26. In that Sutta, the Buddha said that he became the Buddha by realizing dependent originations. In many Sutta, so the Buddha said that he became the Buddha by understanding Four Noble Truths. They are the same, you know, they are the same. But the difference is, Four Noble Truths are very complete, but dependent origination just give how suffering arises, how it can be stopped, ceased, you know. There's a dependent origination, the way, you know. Mahahati Padobama Sutta. I think I want to take liberty to take your time, you know, just for today, you know, because I want to finish all everything. This one. Mahahati Padobama Sutta, the simile of elephant footprint. So in this Sutta, Venerable Sariputta said that elephant footprint is the biggest among the footprint of animals. So just like that, any teachings can be put into the Four Noble Truths. This is the biggest one. So in that Sutta, Venerable Sariputta said that he said that the Buddha said this one. The Buddha said this one. Actually, Bhikkhu Bodhi said that we cannot find this line in the entire Pali Canon. But Venerable Sariputta taught to the monks, the Buddha said this. He who see the dependent origination, see the Dhamma. That means, if you understand dependent originations, you understand the Dhamma. He who sees the Dhamma sees the dependent originations. So you understand the Dhamma, that means you understand divine originations. So if you do not understand divine originations, you do not understand teachings of the Buddha, It's very beautiful, It is very similar to the statement of the Buddha taught to Venerable Vaggali, right? He who sees the Dhamma sees me. Who sees me, see the Dhamma. So that means if we understand the Dhamma, we understand who the Buddha is, what kind of teacher the Buddha is, So for that reason, it's very important to practice the Dhamma. In Visuddhimagga, Venerable Buddha Kosa said that no God, no Brahma can be found. After talking about divine originations, he said this one. There's no God, no Brahma. No God, no Deva, no Devis can be formed. Creator of samsara realm. In this samsara, there's no God. Empty phenomena roll on, subject to cause and condition. Empty phenomena. So that means just phenomena. So there is no passing. There's no I, there's no you, no women. Just phenomena. Mental and physical phenomena roll on. So based on the causes, because of ignorance, sankhara, because of sankhara, vijnana. No person is creating your sankhara, your karma. There's no God, no Brahma can be formed. Very beautiful. It's very important to understand this one as a Buddhist. Otherwise, you will believe and see beings, So that is, we call it, whatever you call it, whatever you call it. We are creating our own destiny. We are creating our own sankhara. We are creating our own karma. Right? So there's no God, no creator God. But you need a lot of courage, a lot of courage to believe this one. To believe this one. Normally, people like easy going, easy way. So they don't want to think many things, Then they believe if you go and pray, everything will be all right. They follow, Then, want to talk about a little bit talk about the original suffering, second noble truths in Abhidhamma. Vibhaṅga, going to finish, Wait for another 5 minutes. Vibhaṅga, second Abhidhamma text among the 7, mentions 5 categories of the original suffering. Not just one, 5 kinds, The first one is craving. That is what we know. It is mentioned in the many discourses, especially in the first discourse. And second one is craving and the remaining defilements. Remaining defilement means it can be hatred, it can be conceit, it can be wrong view. We have, according to Abhidhamma, we have 10 types of defilements. Craving and remaining defilements. That's called the original suffering. And third one, craving, the remaining defilements, and the remaining bad states, or remaining unwholesome states, akusala. Then third one, craving, the remaining defilements, the remaining bad state, akusala, and 3 good roots. 3 good roots, alopa, adosa, amoha. That are objects of taste. If you are compassion arises in your mind, which is along with ignorance, along with wrong view, etc. That is called the original suffering. Even though a good one, even the compassion, that are object of things. Actually, according to Abhidhamma, mundane, wholesome, mental factors. And the last one, craving, the remaining defilements, the remaining bad states, 3 good roots that are object of things, and the remaining good states that are object of things. Actually, he take all, He take all. That is the original suffering, according to Abhidhamma. So it covers many things, If you don't want, it's okay, forget about it. I just want to show, so we must know that is a different variety of definitions. But if you just know what is mentioned in the first sermon, it is more than enough. What is the original suffering? The Buddha said that now this bhikkhus is the noble truth of the original suffering. It is craving, only craving, which lead to renewed existence, accompanied by delight and lust, seeking delight here and there. So that is craving for sensory pleasures, kamatanam, craving for existence. When something is pleasant, we have this craving for existence. We want existence of that pleasant feeling, that pleasant passing, that pleasant place, that pleasant job, etc. Then if something is not good, you have this type of craving for non-extermination. If you have a painful feeling in your body, you want to stop it. That's a type of craving. What you have to know is painful feeling as a painful feeling. That's all. No like and dislike. That's very important. Mindfulness and sampajana. So if something is unpleasant and painful, not good, and we have this type of craving for non-existence or craving for extermination. If a person is near the person you don't like, if you live in such type of person, you have this craving for non-existence of that person. That's also, you don't like it, hatred, That's also a type of craving. The noble truth of the original suffering is to be abandoned. So what you have to do is, you have to abandon craving, right? Craving. Now, going to conclude. No, this is not a conclusion. This is a link between this topic and next one. Beginningless Sansara, Namadaka Sanyota, Samdhanikaya, chapter 50, and Sutta number 1 to 20 suttas. So in that sutta, the Buddha said that bhikkhus, this samsara is without discoverable beginning. You cannot trace the beginning of samsara, beginning of your life. But it is not in accordance with the current science. Science trying to discover the beginning of human being, Even the beginning of this planet, 4.5 billion years old, But according to Buddhism, the planet are impermanent, Arises and passes away. Another planet arises. So we were born, then we die. We were born, we die. There's no beginning. Beginningless samsara. The first point is not descent of beings roaming and wandering, or hindered by ignorance, avijja, Fata by craving, tanha. These are two things, you know. Because of ignorance, we have a craving. For such a long time, bhikkhus, you have experienced suffering, anguish, disaster, and swell the cemetery. It is enough to experience revulsion, nibbida, towards all formations, all sankhara. Enough to become dispassionate toward them, enough to be liberated from them. So actually it's enough to liberate from samsara. Liberation of samsara is called nibbana. So next week we will learn about nibbana. Thank you so much. So time is up. Let's close our class. Yo varatam bhava romanu jesu sakyamuni bhagavakata kecho paragato bala viriya samangi Dan suka dan saranatamu bemi Rāga viraga maninjama sokan Dhamma masangata mapatikulan Suvipadan Dhammami mansaranatamu bemi Yatacha nama apalamahu Chatusu susisu purisayugesu Atacha Bogala Dhammadasate Sangami Mansaranatamu Bemi Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Good night, everyone.